Welcome to Godspeed, where truth meets life in under 10 minutes. I'm AK, and this is Hope for your journey. Moments and opportunities will never force you to be ready. It doesn't check your calendar and it won't send you a notification that it's about to arrive. Most of the time, it just shows up. But today and every day, you get to choose if you want to be prepared. Jesus, the master teacher, loved to use parables, stories that were built out of ordinary life events to explain something much bigger. In today's story, he used something that everyone in that time and room would have recognized: a wedding, to teach something that was much, much harder to grasp. So let's jump into that story. This comes from Matthew chapter 25, verses 1 through 13. Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 bridesmaids who took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. The 5 foolish ones took their lamps but didn't take enough olive oil. The wise ones, however, took enough oil to last until the bridegroom arrived. When the bridegroom was delayed, they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight, they were roused by the shout, "Look, the bridegroom is coming. Come out and meet him." All the bridesmaids got up and prepared their lamps. Then the 5 foolish ones asked the others, "Please, give us some of your oil because our lamps are going out." But the others replied, "We don't have enough for all of us. Go to a shop and buy some for yourselves." But while they were gone to buy oil, the bridegroom came. Those who were ready went in with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. Later, when the other 5 bridesmaids returned, they stood outside, calling, "Lord, Lord, open the door for us." But he called back, "Believe me, I don't know you." So you too must keep watch, for you do not know the day or hour of my return. Two sentences into this parable, we get a lesson that's important for us to take away. Of the 10 women present in the story, he said 5 of them were foolish, letting us know that everybody in our rooms will not be a good example. They will not be the people to follow. Half of the women were unprepared, and they weren't people passing by, but they were the chosen bridesmaids, the ones closest to the wedding party. And so the funny part, and what I like to say, the distilled wisdom is that at any given moment, in any given room, about half of the people are doing the wrong thing with confidence. And that's not a knock on humanity, it's just life if you look at the numbers. So if you're looking at a crowd and trying to figure out how to live your life, if you're watching social media clips and YouTube clips, trying to figure out what to prepare for, when to start taking your own life seriously, you're flipping a coin. You might land on someone wise, but it's just as likely you'll land on someone who is a fool. That is why looking and listening to the crowd for direction will too often leave us disappointed. Not because people are evil or just bad, but because people are often unprepared and have not fully thought things through. Just like these women with the oil, your readiness cannot be borrowed from someone else. It has to be through your own preparation, work, and learning. Get enough oil. Get the lessons, build the relationships, seek good counsel before you're desperate. The promise, even if it's delayed, is still on the way. Okay, now let me add a little bit more context around this story. So, in this cultural setting, a wedding wasn't a single day, a single event. The groom would travel to the bride's family to receive her and her bridesmaids, then bring them all back to his father's house where a feast could last several days was being prepared. And the historical context is this was pre phone, pre smartphone. That means no calls, no texts, no sharing location, meaning nobody in that area knew the exact hour he'd arrive. There was no ETA, no estimated time of arrival. They only knew that he was coming. So the running out of oil wasn't bad timing, it was just bad planning. I remember one wedding I went to in college. So I hadn't been to many at that point. So when I got the invite, I looked up the address, checked the time, and left exactly when it said I needed to arrive right on time. Not early, just enough to park and run in. So I get there, and the GPS says I arrived at the address, except the venue isn't there. It turns out the actual place the ceremony was happening at was further down an unmarked road, and the address was just an approximation to help people get in the vicinity. So now I'm rushing, a little panicked. I'm watching the minutes on the clock move in what seems like hyperspeed because being late always makes the time move faster. And my thoughts immediately go to, if I had just left sooner, none of this would even be a problem. I'd have been seated, anticipating the ceremony instead of stressed out looking for it. I did eventually make it, but by the time the music was already playing, the bride was walking down the aisle, I actually spent the ceremony watching from the DJ booth in the back instead of sitting where I was invited to sit. That's the cost. What should have been enjoyed becomes something you're stressed out about and miss out on instead. In summary, all the good things in this life and the next one are worth getting ready for now. The invitation to you has already been made. A place has already been prepared. And I don't want you to be anxious. I don't want you to rush. I want you to be ready. God, give us focus and eyes to see what truly matters in this moment. Give us a heart to prepare so we're not distracted by delays and daily circumstances. Teach us, Lord, to seek you more. Amen.
I will always love you how I do. Let go of a prayer for you, just a sweet word